Well, we continue to follow up on a story we first brought you over the weekend. A Great Falls woman facing animal cruelty charges after a fire on her property earlier this month. Pamela Jo Poliuski faces 1 felony aggravated animal cruelty charge and 4 misdemeanor counts of cruelty to animals. Court documents filed last Thursday say Cruz seized dozens of animals in various stages of abuse and neglect back on May 6th. Poliuski claims to operate an animal rescue at the location called Hooves, Paws, and Claws. Records indicate the organization was involuntarily dissolved in 2018. Cascade County Commissioner Jane Weber told MTN News the animals are being cared for at the Montana Expo Park. All gates there remain closed to the public. Cascade County Sheriff Jesse Slaughter is asking the public to respect the investigation. They're currently not looking for donations. Now, this wasn't the first time Poliuski's property near Sun Prairie has been searched. MTN reported back in 2005 and 2012 when she faced similar accusations and animal seizures. Documents also show that court violations in western Montana in 2008. Officials found over 24 animals on her property in Libby after she was ordered not to possess any animals as part of a suspended sentence. Poliuski has filed a civil suit against Cascade County, alleging that her rights have been violated, and she's requesting that the animals be returned to her along with financial compensation. The campaign of Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney, who's running for governor, confirmed today that he used his Capitol office for a campaign-related video conference call last month. State law prohibits any public office holder from using public time, facilities, or equipment to support or oppose any political candidate. MTN News obtained a screenshot of Cooney sitting in his office last month during the video conference call with the Democratic Governors Association. Cooney's campaign says his opponent in the primary, Democrat Whitney Williams, also took part in the April 13th call that discussed the fall campaign against Republicans. The Cooney campaign says he used a personal laptop during the call. They said it was an isolated incident that occurred because Cooney had to attend a teletown hall with the governor on COVID-19 a few minutes later at the Capitol. The Cooney campaign says he conducts all fundraising activities and campaigning from his home or a private office. The winner of the June 2nd primary between Cooney and Williams advances to the general election to compete for Montana's open governor seat. The Montana VA healthcare system has begun to re-implement many in-person services that had previously been suspended due to COVID-19. Montana was selected as a lead site in its regional Veterans Integrated Service Network to implement a phased approach to reintroducing healthcare services while ensuring a safe environment. Laboratory, pathology, pharmacy, and radiology services have all resumed, and elective procedures and dental service will continue in the coming weeks. The Montana VA will continue to screen for COVID-19 and require patients to wear a face mask when entering their facilities. The VA will also continue to utilize telehealth, which they say has been invaluable over the past 2 months.
So here in Montana, we've been very fortunate. We have a very robust program. So we were able to very quickly pivot to be able to utilize things such as VA Video Connect, where a veteran is able to connect with their provider via a smartphone or a tablet. For veterans that weren't able to use that capability, telephone visits have occurred.
Montana VA urges veterans to reach out if they are experiencing any kind of medical issue and not avoid treatment. Staff say the safety and wellness of patients has always been their primary duty. Well, Carroll College leaders say they have applied for and been approved for several $1 million of financial assistance through the federal Paycheck Protection Program. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian talked to Carroll's president about what the loan means for their operations.
Carroll College President John Seck says like many other colleges and universities, they have had to make big adjustments to deal with the effects of COVID-19.
I am so thankful to our faculty and staff for the incredible work that they've done in moving to a fully remote delivery learning this spring.
For Carroll, the impacts go beyond the classroom. Ordinarily at this time of year, Carroll's campus would be hosting a variety of conferences, camps, and other events. But this year, because of concerns over COVID-19, many of those events have been canceled.
The auxiliary enterprises during the summertime are a significant part of our annual budget, and so when those auxiliary enterprises are interrupted, as they were this year due to COVID-19, that provides an impact to the budget.
SEC says Carol looked at applying for a loan under the Paycheck Protection Program. They initially weren't sure they would qualify because the funding was only available to employers with 500 or fewer employees. After the first round of applications, Carol contacted elected leaders, asking for clarification on how employee counts are determined. Congressman Greg Gianforte sent a letter to the Treasury Department last month, encouraging them not to include temporary student employees, which would leave Carol with about 400 employees. The Small Business Administration eventually released updated rules, stating that students on work study wouldn't be counted in employee totals. That was enough to make Carol eligible. SEC said Carol reapplied and was approved to receive about $3.3 million. He said that will be a big help as they work to maintain operations.
Without the funding, I would say there were a number of things that were on the table. We had not gotten to the point of making any decisions regarding furloughs, but they were certainly on the table and part of the discussions.
In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Carol's summer session began today with all classes completely online. SEC said they haven't made a decision yet on how to handle classes next fall. Well, Montana and Wyoming are the only two states that are currently allowing some schools to reopen. MTN's Matt Holzaffel took a visit to Great Falls College, which welcomed back students to campus today.
In-person classes resumed today at Great Falls College MSU, but most of the building still looked like this.
We have about 40 of our classes are already scheduled to be taught online. I think we have 11 classes that are taught here face-to-face this summer.
There aren't many big differences from a normal summer semester, except for the quick turnaround.
Spring semester just ended last Wednesday, and now here we are on Monday the 18th starting summer, so they really haven't had much of a chance. They haven't had that week in between.
And the extra measures in place to keep everyone healthy.
We're asking people to wear masks when they're out in the common areas. We've also rearranged some of the furniture in the common areas so students don't have the capability of gathering in large numbers. And then a lot of the hand sanitizers, in different locations.
How this summer goes could provide an idea of what fall semesters around Montana will look like.
We have a task force. They just worked really hard to get us ready for summer semester. And now we're working on that for fall. So we had kind of a version 1 of a plan, and we're still working on that.
In Great Falls, Matt Holzaffel, MTN News.
Great Falls College is still working with other Montana University system schools like UM and MSU to determine what the fall semester will look like. Well, the drive-in movie at the Lewis and Clark County Fairgrounds is officially sold out. They posted on their Facebook page tickets for this Wednesday sold out before 11 this morning. In fact, demand was so high that it caused their system to clog up and slow down drastically. They're showing the movies Jumanji 2 and The Goonies. Entry will be through the East Gate off Silsby Street. Gates will open at 7:30. The movie begins at 9, and the movie will be broadcasted through your FM radio. There will be concessions with drinks, candy, and popcorn, and there will be a parking crew that will lead you to a spot. Well, coming up, one of the Northwest's most infamous natural disasters happened 40 years ago today. We're looking back on the explosion of Mount St. Helens when the news continues.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Welcome back. You've heard the saying, April showers bring May flowers. Well, right now, Mount Helena is blooming with arrowleaf balsam roots, slim pod shooting stars, and western serviceberry flowers. Usually, 4th grade classes are being given tours this week, showcasing the plant life. But due to COVID-19, the Forest Service has a digital guide people can download to learn more about the naturally occurring plants. People could find a poster with a QR code at the main trailhead of Mount Helena that also features the artwork of Kessler 4th grader Matt Gilbert. Rebecca Skeldon with the Montana Discovery Foundation says educating our youth about what native plants grow in Montana helps them be good stewards of the land.
It really creates an enthusiasm for conserving these plants. A lot of people don't realize that there's Montana state flower here on Mount Helena, the bitterroot, and you can see that probably about this time of year flowering right now.
People looking at wildflowers are asked not to pick them so they can be enjoyed by all. Well, today is May 18th. That marks the 40th anniversary of the massive eruption of Mount St. Helens. The volcano erupted May 18th, 1980, killing 57 people and spewing 540 million tons of ash. Before the anniversary, Washington state officials urged people to commemorate the event virtually, as crowds of people tend to make their way to the mountain on the anniversary every year. But with the coronavirus pandemic and the stay-at-home order still in place, officials are asking people to stay home.
We are tracking some storms this evening. We're expecting more storms for tomorrow. We'll have the forecast up next.
Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with meteorologist Brandon Michaels.
Well, we are tracking the potential for a few stronger storms, even severe storms, to develop here this evening. Anywhere shaded in the green, the darker green, there is where we have that potential for an isolated severe thunderstorm. Right now, most of the activity is kind of right along the eastern edge of that into Judith Basin County. We're going to break down these categories more coming up in just a second here, but I want to show you tomorrow's severe weather outlook because it's looking a little bit more impressive. In general, we do have a better chance for severe weather tomorrow. Pretty much all of north central Montana has at least some risk for that severe weather, and then in this yellow area, and that's where we have the higher risk, the slight risk. So let's go through those categories right now. Marginal risk, it's kind of a level 1 risk. You can think of it like that. 1 or 2 isolated severe storms are possible, and again, that does still seem to be the case through the evening hours. A slight risk, that's a little bit more intense. That's a level 2 risk, rather. That's where we could see more than one, some numerous severe storm activity. And again, today, mainly hail, the wind threat, rather, it's tomorrow that stronger hail threat is going to be an issue. Most of the activity, as I said, is in Judith Basin County right now. That's where we've seen most of the storms develop, kind of coming off of the little belts, moving toward places like Stanford and Hobson. You guys have picked up some rain, probably heard a couple rumbles of thunder, felt some gusty winds. We've seen gusts as high as about 40 miles per hour with these storms as they're crossing over 87 there. We're going to zoom out though, because again, we do expect more activity through the night tonight. And we're keeping an eye on this batch of moisture in western Montana, because as that pushes over the divide, that has the potential to make some more storms as well. So let's switch over to Future Track and kind of time this out. Future Track admittedly not doing the best job of picking up on what's going on right now. It's not showing all the rain off to the west, and it's putting some very strong storms that aren't there into southern Cascade County. But the trend is correct. Continuing to see some development and some lifting to the north through the evening hours. So I don't think we're done with severe weather or storms here this evening. We're going to continue to see that into the overnight hours. Probably almost done with it by about midnight, definitely by tomorrow morning. Some clearing, actually some sunshine, a fairly calm start to the day. It's going to kind of start out like today did. It seemed fairly nice, and then as we get later into the afternoon, we're going to start to see those showers and storms developing once again. They're going to build into the evening hours and actually last into the overnight for tomorrow. And again, it's kind of that Havre-Lewistown corridor that has a little better chance of some rain. Eastern Montana, for the most part, going to be dry through the day tomorrow. Now let's talk about temperatures a little bit, because there's another story here. Some of us are going to be very warm for tomorrow. It's going to be mild overnight. 47 in Great Falls, 48 in Helena, very mild to the east. 57 in Glasgow, 55 for the overnight low in Jordan. But look at the high temperatures in eastern Montana tomorrow. 85 in Glasgow, 86 in Jordan, compared to only 68 in Helena and Great Falls. And it's kind of right in the middle in that transition zone. That's where we have the better chance for seeing some of that severe weather. As far as winds tomorrow, not really a factor here, 5 to 10 miles per hour. But of course, when we have storms in the forecast, we can always see some gusty winds in the vicinity of those storms. So we'll continue to track those for tonight into tomorrow, and even a couple of storms possible Wednesday with additional showers on Thursday. With all that rain in the forecast, we are going to be keeping an eye on flooding across parts of the area too. So we'll be watching that as we head through the week. Friday, partly cloudy. and then a good amount of sunshine as we head into the weekend with some drier conditions and actually starting to warm up towards the end of the forecast. Same story in Helena. Strong storms possible tomorrow. Additional showers and storms Wednesday, and even some more rain on Thursday. Finally getting drier towards the end of the forecast here, seeing a little bit more sunshine, but even still, Friday through Monday, we can't rule out an isolated shower or storm. Tim?
Thanks, Brandon. Still to come, it's beginning to look like a tough summer for Cowboys. We'll tell you which rodeo is the latest to be stuck in the chute after the break.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's news leader.
Another Monday brings us one step closer to a return to normalcy, but in the meantime, Tom Wiley, with the help of his amazing assistant, brings us another edition of Social Distancing Game Changers.
Some positive developments for sports fans. The high school rodeo finals given the go-ahead for Baker in June. The UFC and the PBR continuing to host live events, and NASCAR returned this weekend, and that gave us the inspiration for CC and I to take out the cozy coupe, but not before taking a look at our top moments of the week. At number 5, no more trading your organs for Girl Scout cookies on the black market. After a 56-day suspension of sales, troops across Montana got the go-ahead to resume selling tag-alongs, Thin Mints, and Samoas once again. At number 4, this video was submitted by Tiffany Hobson, and this Golden Retriever Black Lab mix is Keena, and she loves watching KRTV, especially any stories with animals on them. Check out these serious hops, proof that KRTV is not just for humans. At number 3, the 11 seniors on the CMR and Great Falls High softball teams were honored on Thursday in a drive-by tribute. Though their season was canceled, there's no taking away what these players accomplished, combining for 4 state titles in the last 4 years. At number 2, the first of many graduation ceremonies started Saturday. Here's a look at what they did out in Highwood. 7 Mountaineers receiving their diplomas on the football field with social distancing guidelines in place. Congratulations to the entire class of 2020 during this unprecedented time. And at number 1, despite stay-at-home orders and the economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, Montanans showed their generosity, purchasing over 86,000 Special Olympics Montana Chevy raffle tickets and raising over $434,000 in 2020, bringing the 26-year total for the program to just under $14 million raised for Special Olympics.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah! Of course, you can always share your favorite moments with us as well. Just send a video and a description in an email to homehighlights@krtv.com. We'll feature them every Monday on Game Changers. Reporting from home, CC Wiley and Tom Wiley, MTN News.
Well, for the first time since 1960, there won't be a rodeo in Belt after the Little Belt Cowboys Association canceled the 2020 Pro Rodeo, originally scheduled for the weekend of June 12th. The Belt Rodeo usually kicks off the Montana PRCA circuit, but with public gatherings limited to just 10 people in Phase 1 of the state's reopening, Association President Clancy Sievertson said it would be impossible to plan a rodeo with an uncertain timetable for when the fans can return.
We had a lot of the preparations done, ready, but talking with the states a little bit, it doesn't sound like things are going to open up till the end of August, 1st September. We thought about postponing it, but then where do you put it?
The Little Belt Cowboys Association will still hold its annual gun raffle in June. Members have been selling tickets since February, and those funds will go towards planning the 2021 Belt Rodeo. We'll be back with a check of weather right after this.
Welcome back again. We are still tracking some storms here this evening. For the most part, they are in Judith Basin County at this point, but as we zoom out here, we're going to switch over to Future Track. They do show continuing spreading across north central Montana, so we are going to have our eyes on the Doppler network here this evening.
Well, it's a kind of a bittersweet day for us here because it's Brandon's last day on air with us. Tell us where you're going. I'm
going to Bakersfield, California. I'm going to be doing the same job, just with one of our sister stations. But yeah, it's been a fun 2 years here. I'm going to miss the people in north central Montana. I'm really going to miss the people here as well.
Yeah, we're going to miss you and the great job that you have done. And we look forward to following your career and probably seeing you even bigger, better places.
Well, I appreciate that, Tim.
All right, that's all the time we have. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.